All right, good evening, everyone. I am Mr. Pickock. I am the principal here at West Lane. And this evening, we are joined by Mr. Bishop, who is our assistant principal and athletic director,
Hi, everyone. How you doing?
and Mrs. Barber, who is our other assistant principal. Oh, wait, I got you muted, Ms. Barber. Sorry, there you go, Ms. Barber. I think I've got you unmuted, but you don't.
Still on mute.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. This is Miss Barber. I'm glad to see you all tonight.
All right. So we are going to share a screen, and we're going to walk you through how tonight's going to work, and we're going to just share some information with you that we feel is very important through this evening. And there'll be time later tonight to actually talk with us live or on our Zooms, on our Zoom rooms, or ask us questions in our Google Doc, and I will show you how to do that at the end of this actually presentation. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I want to go right here. And I want to go to back to school night presentation. All right, so we want to welcome everybody virtually. The good news is this is kind of how we would have done it even if we were all in school, because of the fact that we wanted to limit interactions for people outside of our students. But tonight, since we're back to school virtually, we are actually going to be back tonight virtually as well. Like I said, I'm Mr. Bill Pickock. I am the principal here at West Lane. And if you watch my video this evening, you'll know this is my 5th year as principal, and it's my 14th year at West Lane. And it's hard to believe it's been 14 years, but time flies when you're having fun. That is certainly for sure. So, all right. I want to talk a little bit about tonight. 3 things, and it's one is the importance of virtual learning. And so this year we've started all virtual, as we all know that. And it's a much more rigorous and in-person, or I should say much more rigorous and face-to-face than last spring, where the teachers are actively starting their class and actively engaging with the students during their class. It's not asynchronous like kind of last spring was, where you had 20 minutes in which you could go on any time. We really want to make sure the students are following their schedule because actually when we come back to me, and I want to talk a little bit about planning for in-person learning. Now, Mr. Pickock's not here to break any news. We don't know what date we are coming back in person or what it's going to look like coming back. We are assuming, because of what the mayor has said, it's going to be a hybrid model, but we don't know what that's going to be yet. But do know this: when we're back in person, the 3 of us, numerous teachers, our custodians, our nurses, everybody has been working feverishly. Actually, I don't want to use the word feverishly because we're not sick. We're working very hard to get everything back correctly for in person. And that means looking at how we eat, how we walk in the hallways, how we will definitely know we'll require a mask, how we do PE, how we do class. We're looking at all of those pieces, and we're going to say by September 1, we're going to be able to share that with you once we're finalized. But we're looking at a few more things on how to eat lunch and how to walk the halls that we want to finalize. But we're going to share that with you by September 1 for planning for in-person. Again, I don't know what date. That's going to be up to the board. And I would encourage everybody to go to the MSDWT website and actually watch the board meetings where they've talked about that. They've had great discussion. I think they had one earlier today, but they've had great discussion about that, and just kind of giving what they're looking at and what they're thinking of. So I really want you to know that we're really planning, when we do come back in person and we're all together, we are really looking at every piece from even how the buses park to where they park to what door people come in. Mr. Bishop, I know, has done a lot of that even now for athletics, to where we're talking about, like, how do you enter? What are we doing? How do we do contactless? What are we doing here? But just know that we're thinking of every possible moment of the school day and how we're going to look like coming back in person. I also want to talk about online and in-school safety. Now, online safety, I know that some of us have been a little bit agitated about having students not come into class on a Zoom call, but we're really waiting for the first and last name to be on the actual Zoom address. And we actually sent a message out on how to do that on Chromebooks and how to do that on Mac and PCs. But really that's for online school safety. We don't want anybody Zoom bombing. We don't want anybody coming into a class that shouldn't be there. We don't want anybody coming into a classroom and being able to say or whatever they want to. But that also goes for the chat. So making sure that we are appropriate in the chat. I know that you hear our announcements every day. If you don't, they're wonderful. They are a good time to listen to us read announcements. We actually do try to make it lively for the students, but we also send those out each morning. And we do want that online safety. We talk about that in the chat, being respectful, but also not giving out our Zoom passwords. For in-school safety, know that that is our absolute number one. I talked a little bit about in-person learning. School safety is our number one priority for when we return in person. And that is teacher safety, student safety, our safety, the safety of all the adults in the building who are working with your students. So know that we are, everything we do is through the lens of safety and learning. And so really that's going to be a high level of safety coming back. Just know that we are thinking of everything we possibly can to make sure that your students and our staff and all the adults in our building are as safe as possible when we return in person, and also during virtual as well. We want to make sure everybody is safe. So really some of those things that we do may seem like, why are they doing this? But it's all through the lens of safety. I'm going to turn it back over now to Mrs. Barber. She's going to talk about a couple of different things that are very important as well. So Mrs. Barber, take it away.
Well, thank you. Welcome, parents. Again, my name is Mrs. Barber, and this is my second year in both Washington Township and at West Lane. But I realized the other day, this is my 25th year in education, and I don't even know when that happened. So I want to talk to you just a little bit about attendance in our Canvas, our Zoom classes and on Canvas. I know this is, again, we keep saying this, that it's a little bit different than it was in the spring. It might be a lot different than it was in the spring. But just so you know exactly what your students are expected to do. So every day we have 4 periods. So it depends on the day of the week. So it's either 1 through 4 or 5 through 8. And each student needs to log into a live Zoom lesson for each class. And they're an hour long. It doesn't mean they'll be in that class for an hour, but they have to log into Zoom for that class every time it meets. That's how our teachers are taking attendance. So for some people, I've been calling because I'm not seeing that the teachers aren't seeing them, so they are marking them absent. So please make sure your child knows that they need to log into the Zoom link, which is on the Canvas homepage. And we know for 6th graders, this is all so new. So please call us or email us if you have any questions, and we'll help walk you through, because we don't want anyone to be lost. We want everyone to be actively engaged. Emergencies. If your child needs to, leave a classroom, that's fine. We know there are doctor's appointments and dentist appointments that they have to go to. Just make sure the teacher knows they will mark them absent, just like we would if you came to school and picked them up. So we will mark them absent, and they'll be responsible for making up the work. What's awesome now is that our teachers are recording lessons so the student can look and see what they missed. If you know that your child is going to miss a whole day, just call school and let us know so we can mark that in our attendance records. And if you are having technical issues, we know what happens. The other day, our server went down for a little bit. If you're having technical issues and you can't log on, call us and let us know. Because again, we need to just make sure that you are getting every opportunity to log on. So if you're having trouble that day, we all know, especially afternoon, Wi-Fi sometimes gets a little slow. Just give us a call and let us know, and we'll work with you. And the last thing is engaging in class. Just as your kids are starved to meet and see their friends, so are your teachers. We want to see your children. And the best way to have interactive and engaging classes is when their cameras are on, they're seated upright. They need to not be laying in bed, and they're engaging. So that means their cameras need to be on. I know a lot of our kids are extremely nervous about having their faces on the screen, and we'll work with just those real particular cases. But for the most part, let's have our kids have their cameras on and they're unmuted when it's necessary. I know Mr. Pitcock shared some of those really cool Wesleyan backgrounds like he has in the background there. So they can log on and that's the one I use a lot of times and get those Wesleyan backgrounds. That way they don't have to worry about anyone seeing their room or whatever. And just gives them a little bit more, I think just a little bit more security when they're engaging in class. But I know it's hard. I know a lot of you are working, and so you're trusting your kids to be logged on. If I call you and they tell you they're logging on for them, I bet you they're probably not. So don't get stressed out if I call you about attendance. We're just trying to make sure we get all of them logged on the correct way and engaging the correct way. And again, if you have any questions, just call us. We are here to help you. Either us or the help desk. That can also help with your technology issues. But yeah, just make sure you check to see that they're on Zoom. There's lots of Canvas trainings for parents, so you can be observers. But yeah, I think so far their kids are doing a pretty good job. It's been nice to see them. Can't wait to see them back in person, but this is good for now. So I think I covered it all.
All right, and now again, Mr. Bishop, our assistant principal and athletic director. Hold a minute. Sorry. All right.
All right. Good evening, everyone. One of the things I want to kind of piggyback on what Ms. Barber mentioned about your students being engaged. That engagement will lead to academic success. And we look at it right now as academic practice will equal academic success. And one of the things that comes to mind is consistency. And so if we are consistent with making sure that we're treating this like we're going inside of the building. So we're getting up, we have a routine of eating breakfast before we start. Hopefully we're eating breakfast before we start that first advisory class.
No Pop-Tarts.
Sure that we are, the routine that we would have as if we were catching that bus is very important. And so that puts our students in a mindset, I believe, of learning. And so having that consistency on a daily basis is needed. Now, we got to make sure that when we are in class, we have to continue to be engaged, to ask questions, and to follow through. Those are things that we would ask if you were inside of the building. And that's what has to happen each day within those Zoom classes. Take advantage of the 20-minute small group classes afterwards. If the students have any questions or a time to do their homework and ask questions with the teacher, that is the time for our students to do that. So we have to make sure that the academic practice that we are trying to achieve, if we are able to do that, it will lead to the academic success, and it will achieve it virtually and in person. Okay. But as we all know, we are creatures of habit. And so we have to create those habits on a daily basis. So that's my first point. My second one is the things that we can do on our own. We have to make sure, continue to ask questions to your children on a daily basis. Ask them, how was their day? What did they learn? What is something that was the most interesting thing that they learned today? What is something that if you could have done without, what would you do without? You know, ask those things as if they went inside of the building. Those questions are very important. Ask them, show them what did they do today. The more that you are, I know as you transition from elementary to middle school, and I've said this before, you want to be a little bit more hands-off. They're maturing. You know, they're getting older. They're getting a little bit more stinkier by the day. You have to remind them to take a shower bath. But my advice, and this was not just for me, this was from the entire administrative staff, really bring them closer to you. Keep them closer to you. It's really not a time of letting go. It is really a time of embracing. because this is a time of just socially trying to figure out, where do I lie? Where am I at in this world? And with the situation that we're in online, it's actually changing the development, in my opinion, of how they socially interact with each other. And so we have to make sure that at home that we're continuing that, because in the middle school, social output is so important to them. And what we really want in middle school is to make sure we have a balance of academic and social growth as they continue their journey through middle school. So parents, those are things that you can do outside of school. Just continue to embrace your kids. And students, make sure that we're still studying, going over work from that day, making sure that we're completing assignments. If we have to look back on Canvas and check and making sure that we are turning things on time, please, let's make sure that we do that. Now, with athletics moving forward, I know you've heard me if you attended the webinar or some of our announcements from Mr. Pickock. We are moving forward with our athletics at this time. We are still, if you are interested in any of the sports, soccer, football, cross country, cheerleading, volleyball, if you have your physical from last year, the first thing I would ask you to do is to enroll in Event Links. Event Links is the way to go, okay? Because Event Links is going to streamline all the paperwork that you will need to come out. You must have all paperwork completed before you're able to come out. Now, we're going into our first full week of sports, and coaches are wanting to kind of finalize their teams. I want to work with you. So please call me, please email me, and allow me to assist you through this time. We will have some changes with athletics in the sense of fans. We are finalizing how we're going to have the number of fans. We're going to be limited to the number of fans that we're allowed. I'm going to be honest with you. It could be a time that we are probably going to limit students coming to games and limit the amount of adults that would also be able to attend games. And these are all things that that we are reviewing through Marion County School Board. Marion County Health Department, and along with our school board, and along with other factors. So these are things that we're working on right now. We will make sure we inform everyone. But please, just support us in these decisions. I know that they may not be the most popular decisions, but all the decisions we are making is for the health purpose of our community. And we want to make sure that we're not keeping just your children safe as they participate in sports. We want to keep you safe as you come in and you observe them participate. That's kind of all I have right now with sports. I can also mention our attendance with sports is going to be slightly different. In the past, you had to make sure you were in school for 50% of the day. We're now, just because of it could be doctor appointments, and any other type of medical needs, we're going to be a little bit more relaxed with that. You just got to make sure that you either have that doctor note or that you're communicating with myself if a student is missing school or missing classes. But we want to work with you, parents. Please, if we have that open communication, I think it will just make it an easier school year for all.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. All right. So I want to talk about, first of all, our mission. Westlake Middle School's mission is to develop lifelong learners and globally minded citizens by fostering academic, creative, and social skills needed to achieve excellence in a multicultural environment. That usually ends our announcements, but that's just the start of some of our announcements now. I just want to let you know that we are an MYP school. MYP is the extension of PYP you guys had at the elementary. We are student-centered, which means it promotes personal inquiry and personal change. We are concept-based, meaning that we have a curriculum that's broad and balanced, conceptual, and connected. And we are informed by global context, which increase the understanding of languages and cultures, which you guys are all studying languages, and globally significant issues. Also, we are an AVID school-wide side of distinction. We're the only one in the state of Indiana. AVID's mission is to close the achievement gap by preparing students for college readiness and success in a global society. So even if you don't go to college, you're ready to go there. Next, I want to talk a little bit about construction. As those of you who've driven by have seen, that we are right about done with this section right here. We have the foundation dug for over here. Do want to let you know that. So when you go up and see the fence right here, this is going to be the new 6th grade pod. Our new entrance is looking pretty good, and our offices are done. So we're really excited about the progress we're making, and I will continue to send out pictures of that. And if you look over here, our 7th and 8th grade, if you drive by our new 7th and 8th grade upstairs, which is what I've got to get used to saying, is coming along really nicely. I want to talk about our virtual schedule real quick. We talked a lot about it, and we talk about it every day, but I just want to make sure you're understanding that when we have what we call maybe a blue day, is going to be classes 1 through 4. And this week it was on a Monday. And then we have classes 5, 6, 7, and 8 on Tuesdays. And we have the office hours are 20 minutes after each session. On Wednesdays, we do run a little bit longer advisory, just to let you know that, so the kids will be on a little bit longer in the morning. We'll work on some things. I think we've got a couple of things for the end of August to have some grade level meetings with everybody using the Zoom webinar format. One thing I want to clear up, and we talked about this today, so each of your students in 6th grade, and I know this is a majority 6th grade meeting, you have 2 Lang and Lit classes. So I know that they're saying they're going on one day and not the other, but actually we created this the language and Lit class for it to be an everyday occurrence regardless of when the kids met. So you have a 6A on your schedule, periods 1 through 4, not 3, but period 1, 2, and 4. Okay, you have 6A or you have 6XA, which is the first part of that. It's the writing part, it's the reading part of that. 6B or 6XB is on 5 through 8. So they have Lang and Lit with their teachers every day. They have the same teacher, and they have it every day. Now, it's not always the same time frame, but it definitely is. There's 6XA on the front, and there's 6B on the back. So making sure they're attending that class every day, because they're different classes, because one focuses on the writing part and one focuses on the reading part. I want to talk about something that we're very excited about here, and that is our West Lane Parent Portal. That is, we just started that today, and that's where you guys came here for your links. I want to take you to it right now. We're going to be adding things to this like a lot. Like already we added our homework hotline, our Skyward access, how to get Skyward, how to get on Canvas, and how to get to the MSDWT site. We're going to be pretty much making this the one-stop shop for all West Lane parents. And so the reason for that is that we'll save our website for more new enrollees, and then everything you're possibly going to want is going to be right here. This actually looks better on your phone because it's built for a phone, an iPad, a Kindle, a computer. It doesn't matter. However you want to look at it, you can look at it any way you want to, and that's what we're really excited about. Now, I do want to talk a little bit in our last few minutes about tonight, and I want to click on this. So essentially, you're already here. You're taking the 6th grade parent Zoom webinar. So on this, you're going to see, if I click on the 6th grade here, and everybody can see that, right? Richard and Laura, Ms. Bishop, you can see that? Ms. Barber. So each teacher has recorded an introductory video, and they're about anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes long. You may not be able to watch all of them in the time between now and 7 o'clock. And then each teacher has opened up a Zoom link for you to go into to ask live questions. Now, they're going to say to come in one at a time, and it's going to be limited to 5 minutes per family. But the cool thing is, and I'll minimize the picture here, is we also have a Q&A for later. These are Google Forms in which you can click on to ask us a question. Now, we're going to keep this open until Wednesday, so you can just ask questions that you normally don't have. And then we're going to open up one for the school, just so you don't have to email all the time. Maybe email is not something you want to use, but we're going to open up one for the school for all the time, just so you can kind of communicate back and forth with us. If you have a student in 6th grade, they're all right here, all your 6th grade teachers. And then the multi-grade, meaning the exploring Spanish, the exploring Chinese, exploring French, band, orchestra is all over here. So again, You can see what time they're going to be on Zoom right here in this column. And then any questions for later. And again, their introductory video. So we're really excited about this, how this is going to work. So I'm super excited about this. And so that is, again, it's on westlaneparents.com. And we appreciate you coming for our webinar tonight. And again, you can see that even us, the three of us are going to be welcome video. Mine is long, and I didn't need to talk about athletics, but mine is about 10 minutes. Mr. Bishop's, I think, is 10 minutes. Ms. Barber, how long is yours?
I think mine's only 5 minutes.
I honestly, mine's not that. Mine's 10 minutes long, and I did not talk about Purdue that much. I'm not
talked about Purdue a lot,
but I didn't talk about it that much. So I think that's a win for me.
So watch mine, because mine's the shortest.
All right, everybody, we're going to let you go ahead and start watching those. We appreciate you coming out tonight. And again, we'll record this and put it back up on the website. But thank you all.